No time to waste. Let's hit it. Holiday Breakup 2024, TikTok style. Thanks so much for being here.
I'm pretty sure the Easter Bunny gig is up now. The kids don't seem to believe in that at all anymore, so that's a bummer. I'm not sure what'll happen with Santa. But the conversation with my daughter about the Easter Bunny got me thinking back, and I will never forget the first official Christmas after my divorce, when we were officially legally divorced, like living in separate places. I was trying to discuss with my ex-husband, like, what we were going to do as far as the Christmas presents from Santa. They were going to be at my house, their home that they grew up in, to wake up there Christmas morning. I was like, well, how do you want to split up the gifts from Santa? As far as, like, did he want to bring them over? Did we want to tell the kids Santa left them at 2 different houses? Like, what was the system going to be? And he had the nerve to tell me he wasn't going to be buying a single one of the Santa Claus presents. And his reason, and I quote, was, I want to get credit for the presents I bought them. So he didn't want to buy any of the gifts and have them be from Santa because he wanted his name on them so that they would know Daddy got him the presents. And up until that point, we had always done the gifts are from Santa. There was no mommy or daddy on the labels. It was all from Santa. And so I ended up buying all the Santa gifts, and I have every Christmas since. That's 3 Christmases now. Yeah, 3, where I bought every single one of the gifts for them. And now I've had to start buying a few gifts from Mom, because I'd be darned that he's going to be getting them gifts, right? Like, then it's like, well, why is Daddy getting us Christmas present and Mommy isn't?
Help me make it make sense, family. Help me make it make sense. Okay, look, what is that saying? If you can't beat them, join them. So for 3 years, she held steadfast to, we're going to have them keep believing in Santa, and the ex-husband, who was probably being a bit petty, okay? Because when it's regarding your kids, remember, you're divorcing your spouse. You're not divorcing the children. Now, I don't have kids, but I have been divorced, okay? And we will. I don't really discuss that too publicly, but I will discuss bits and pieces of it in today's episode, just so you understand that I understand the emotions that we're going to be seeing here. I completely get it. It's been about 9 years for me, so I've had time to get over it, per se. Okay, if you really ever do get over it, I mean, if you're human and you're caring, there's always that part. But you understand it's time for you to move on, and, don't waste your time on something that is not working, right? So I just want to go and making sure my audience understands that, yeah, I get this stuff. Yes, I don't have children, but that aside, I understand everything else about it, okay? And to me, it is pretty petty. When my parents were divorced, we had 2 Christmases, even on the same day, even, morning at one place, afternoon at another's. I have to hand it to my parents, okay? They were really mature about it. They really were, and it wasn't a bitter thing or anything like that, all right? Even though between them it wasn't great. As far as the kids and the holidays, both parents, thank you, Mom and Dad on both sides, really, really worked to make it good for us. So to me, this is pretty petty. Just my opinion, saying, basically, I want to make sure that Dad, that they know that Dad is the one who bought the gifts, that it didn't come from Santa. As if the kids someday aren't going to get old enough to understand that, yes, it really is Dad and Mom that are buying the gifts, but it's Santa that's making the magic. So, if you can't beat them, I guess join them, right?
I know that my page is supposed to be about positivity, but during holidays, it's a little bit rough. Really intensify the pain that you have inside. So I'm hoping that if you are the friends and family of people who are going through this rough time, that you would be extra kind and understanding to them, and not always flaunting what you have and all these amazing relationships and children that you have. Because even though I'm really happy for you, it really hurts inside, because that was the life that I had before I could have had. But it all was taken away from me. So I just want you to know that I'm really happy for you. And I'm really grateful for my life. I have an amazing life, an amazing family, and a great relationship. But it doesn't make it hurt less.
Okay, we're going to back up here just a second on this young lady, okay? I'm going to make some hard truths. And there were hard truths that I had to figure out on my own, just as I went through the process of divorce. Like I was divorced 9 years ago. No secret on this channel. No secret that he chose to leave me. Okay, it was not my choice to divorce. But we each have individual and free will. And if you don't think you're with the right person, okay, you move on. All right. 2 points that I really want to touch on. First is the part about, and this is trying to say this sensitively. And again, I've had time to move on. So maybe if you're really fresh in a breakup, I don't want you to misinterpret this, okay? She talks about flaunting, about, if you're in a great relationship, don't flaunt it. Here is the thing that I discovered during my painful divorce, all right? It's easy to think that other people are flaunting the relationship, okay? And the reason it feels that way from my experience and my perspective is because you're hurting so much. So anyone who says anything positive about their relationship, you interpret it as flaunting. To me, the word flaunting is when somebody takes an action, knowingly sticks it in your face with an I don't care attitude, even though I know how much you are hurting, even though I claim to profess that I care and whatnot, but I'm still just going to stick it in your face kind of in spite. That to me is flaunting. And I think when people are in breakups, we have to be really careful that we understand that I'm going to say 99.9% of the people, it's not that they're flaunting the relationship. It's your perception that they're flaunting their relationship because they are not in the same pain that you're in. And by the way, speaking about how much I understand, my divorce was in December. I told you, yes, this is a painful topic, and this might be even too sensitive for some people, like I said, who are, just at the beginning stages, or they're still in the raw stages of that. And I respect that. Okay. I too, like I said, was left and then legally divorced in the month of December. All right. So I get it. Days before Christmas. So I feel her pain, and I think a lot of us do. But we have to understand that what we who are in pain may see as flaunting, it's probably not what's going on. Like I said, the only type of flaunting I could see is if the person that broke up with you put the relationship in your face. There was no discretion. There was no, I guess discretion's the best word, okay? If the person that you broke up with, okay, is basically sticking it in your face, that I could see possibly as being flaunting, depending on the situation, because it does happen. But if she's referring to just the people around her, the people who are in relationships that are working, maybe they're even in new relationships that are working, whatever, it's easy to interpret it as flaunting. The other thing too is I understand her very well when, she basically says, I'm happy for you, but realize how much we are hurting. Here is a really tough reality. Nobody really understands, in my opinion, just how you are feeling about your divorce. Nobody can really understand it except for you. So the reasons, in my opinion, for it is because people divorce on all different emotional levels. There are people who are thrilled to be divorced. Like, thank God, it's what I wanted. Get me out of here. Okay? There are people that the divorce is what they want. They have divorce parties. They're so happy. And then, I was on the other end of the spectrum. I didn't want to get a divorce. I, got left. It happens. I'm not the only one. All right? And you just kind of have to deal with it. So what's that phrase? Better to be the dumper than the dumpy, because the perception is that the person who's doing the dumping is going to be in less pain than you are. And that's probably to some extent true. I'm not going to say is straight across the board. So, yeah, I think a lot of us can feel her pain.
but it doesn't make it hurt less.
Sis and I are Christmas shopping. We're looking at all the ornaments, and it made me think of this story. And I know I'm not making this up, but when I got divorced, I remember asking my ex for all my Christmas stuff, and she got mad and threw all my childhood ornaments away and broke them, and then gave them back to me in a box. So I actually don't have any really ornaments. It makes me sad.
I've never understood people who do things like that. I understand that, there's a lot of pain, all right? And I will not even begin to share the level of pain I was in when I got divorced, okay? But, I'm sure if you've heard the term flat as a pancake, all right? I've never understood people who take things and destroy things. I know there are people who go, well, I'll feel better for the moment. That to me isn't worth it. There's a saying, and I think to some extent there's some truth to it. It was one of the myriad of articles I read when I got divorced, and it said, if you really want to know the type of person you are married to, watch how they act in a divorce. And that will give you a really good insight as to the type of person you were married to. Now, I have no way to validate this, so I guess you're just going to have to kind of trust me to some extent on my word. When he decided he wanted to leave, I did not go through the house and destroy everything. I did not touch his business stuff. I didn't go in and, destroy the office. I just walked away. That's just, not because I'm timid, not because I can't speak up for myself. I mean, for gosh sakes, I teach middle school, okay? But I think you get to the age where you realize that it's wasted energy. And when they say it makes you look bad, to some extent, yes. But let's even put that aside. It's just not who I am. I'm not that type of person. I'm not a yeller, screamer. I don't throw things, all right? I don't take all your stuff, dump it in a sack, put it on fire, and kick it out the door. I just simply leave. That's just my style. So, and by the way, speaking of style, and she was talking about she has no ornaments. Okay, when I divorced, I lost all of everything. Like I said, I just walked away, left the ornaments and everything behind. However, I did get myself some treats to replace those ornaments. Now, here's the thing. One of the things I get asked a lot about is people go, oh, how do you look the way you do? Yada, yada. You know what? I always tell people it's not how expensive the item is, okay? But it's about taking good care of your skin and putting the right stuff on your skin, all right? And I don't know about you guys, but ladies, and for the guys too, that like to wear this stuff, I do love to wear makeup. I don't wear very much of it, but I do like to wear it, okay? So I'm going to show you 3 things that I'm wearing right now, all right? One of the things I'm wearing right now is L'Oreal. It's the Automatic, okay, eyeliner pencil. And here's the thing. It's in matte. I'm going to hold it right up to here. This is matte. It's what I actually have right now. Now, here's the thing with me and eyeliner. I absolutely love eyeliner. And if you have watched this channel, I tend to wear it kind of heavy. Okay? Hey, it's my style. It's my gig. All right? But one of the things I absolutely love about eyeliner are the mechanical pencils. You don't have to carry, you don't have to carry a pencil sharpener and deal with all the mess of sharpening it. This just is automatic. And for those of you who don't like cream, and I actually own about 4 different eyeliners. Don't worry, we're not going to cover them all today, but I have different eyeliners for different purposes, and this one is a matte one. So for those who don't like liquid eyeliner, okay, which often to me looks like stage makeup, and you don't really like the cream because maybe on some skins and stuff it gets kind of runny or it smears, you might like matte. This is by L'Oreal Infallible. Infallible, by the way, is one of the only eyeliner brands that I buy, and this stuff will stay on for hours, and I've even worn it when working out. The other thing, for those who like to know what I'm wearing, is this is my go-to product of 2024, NYX, NYX. I think that's how you pronounce it. I sure hope it is. But a student showed me this. Yes, a middle school student showed me my NYX fat oil lip stuff, and she brought it to me, and I'm wearing it right now, and it's got this really chubby Okay, kind of like juicy, chubby applicator on it. And here's the thing, ladies, have you ever bought lipstick and you have to spend 5 minutes doing this as you try to get the lipstick off your teeth? You know one thing, I am a lover of lip gloss. I could own 100 different lip glosses and I would tell you it's not enough. So anyways, fat lip oil, and this is in, it's called That's Chic. All right, it's called That's Chic. And then the final thing for those who really want to, if you're going through a breakup and you deserve to treat yourself, okay, these are my holiday earrings. All right, got these at Walmart. These are by Holiday Lane at Walmart, and they're not as expensive as they look. Okay, they look really expensive. Try like I think I paid around $12 or so. The price may vary depending upon where you're at, but I should say you can get this at Ulta right now, and the eyeliner and the holiday earrings you can get at Walmart. So check it out in my description down below. Okay, there's a link there, and of course if you click on it and you purchase something, it helps support this channel. So have fun with that. All right, continuing on, let's figure out what else is going on in the breakup arena.
Is this your first Christmas divorced? Here's something I did after my first Christmas, and I love it, and I think you should do it too. I thought back to what I would spend on my ex-husband for Christmas every year, and I took that number and I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy me a present this year. I took that value and I bought myself something really nice. Because it is sad to think about, you're gonna wake up on Christmas and when you usually exchange presents and there's no one to give you a present. Give the damn present to yourself. Be your own Santa.
Same girl, same. I asked for a divorce on Thanksgiving too. Me and my husband go on a romantic getaway together. Driving home from the getaway, my friend is like, hey, how was your romantic getaway? And I was like, I think I need a divorce. So we get home and I talk to my mom and I was like, I think I'm going to ask him for a divorce. And she's like, Thanksgiving is in 2 days. Wait till after the holidays, after Christmas, and then ask him and then just get past the holidays. And I was like, I'm a patient person. I can do that. Absolutely. No problem. So Thanksgiving Day comes around. It is Thanksgiving. We're eating food, turkey, all 9 yards. And I say, hey, would you be able to transfer your job back to San Antonio if you wanted to? And he was like, I would lose seniority. Why? And I was like, I kind of want a divorce. And he's like, you do? Let's go to therapy. And I was like, great, let's go to therapy. Next day he was like, I don't want to go to therapy. I'd rather just divorce you. And I'm like, okay, great. Fast forward now. I have a great supportive husband. My life is great. So girl, hang in there.
You know, I have to be honest. If somebody said to me, how would you feel like moving back? And they don't want to go with me, I think you pretty much have the answer on that. And my experience with my parents getting divorced, my own divorce, okay, this is just my opinion, folks. I'm not a big fan of therapy. I'm not. If you followed my channel for a while, you probably know that. I'm not totally against therapy for certain situations, all right? But as far as keeping marriages together, it is my observation, it is my experience that therapy tends to simply solidify, verify, confirm that one person wants out or both people realize they're just not suited for each other. Now, don't come after, okay, and say, oh, but I did therapy and it worked. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying therapy fails across the board. But it's just, I watched my parents go through marriage counseling. I've watched other people go through it. In other words, I've had a lot of experience of watching people going through therapy. And I really have concluded that therapy, for the most part, simply confirms for one or both people in the relationship that it's not working out. I've said it before, and I had a girlfriend who told me who got divorced after 30 years, and they had done therapy in the whole 9 yards, and she said to me, she said, you know, we've been together 30 years, and that's enough time for me to figure out that we just aren't suited for each other. So therapy, I think, works for some people, but it's my unscientific and unprofessional observation that it does not work for most people. But instead, what it does is it just simply confirms what one of you or both of you already know.
Such a good question.
Okay, this lady here is not the person in the event. She's answering someone's question that wrote in, because when I first saw it, I thought this was happening to her, and I went, something's not quite right. No, this event is not happening to her, but it's someone who wrote in about the situation that they're in. And I thought that this was so important that we actually discussed this. So let's hear what she has to say.
I'm 7 years post-divorce, and my immediate family on more than one occasion has invited my ex-spouse for holidays. About 2 summers ago, I met with my sister and father and explained that I am not coming to family events if my ex is there. My sister messaged me and said that Christmas is at her house this year, but she wanted to let me know that my ex-husband has decided he's going to be there. I politely declined. At what point do I just cut ties? They clearly have chosen and continue to choose him over me. My boundaries have been very clear. The fact that he's allowed to make this decision about my family holiday is infuriating, and they don't bother to stick up for me. Am I wrong to close the door on them? You can only be shown you're not a priority so many times. It hurts.
All right, I think that's the end of her little spiel there. Here are my thoughts. And I'm more pragmatic than I am emotional. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to tell you that to give you my perspective, okay? I try really hard to look at things in an objective way. Sometimes it used to drive my mother nuts because my mother was very emotional. It is, let me back up. We cannot, as the person who is getting divorced, been divorced, going through a divorce, okay? She said she was 7 years post, so that means 7 years after divorce. We cannot expect the people around us to necessarily view the people that we divorced in the same light or the same perspective as we view that person. In other words, two people who are toxic together as a couple, okay, they're toxic with each other, but they're not necessarily toxic with other people. And the tough thing, I think, for many of us that have been through divorce is that includes the people that our ex may want to hang around with. In other words, we see our ex as toxic, so to speak, okay? But other people don't see them as that. And because we are hurting, and because we have had a negative relationship with that ex, we think that other people owe it to us. We think that other people owe it to our emotions, that they must think the same way that we think about our ex. Now, this takes some real maturity, in my opinion, to recognize this. Maybe it takes even years after a divorce. Maybe it just takes what I've had, a couple of bankruptcies, an auto repossession, a foreclosure. Maybe it just takes all of those things where I'm like, yes, Lord, I can see the light. I can see the error of my ways. I am an imperfect human being. But like the lady in that earlier video who she was talking about, don't flaunt it, we're hurting. People aren't flaunting in front of you like you think. And here, not the lady in the video, like I was saying, the lady that we're looking at, okay, this did not happen to her, but the person that she's answering a question about. It's very easy for us to think, well, we have an ex, and it sounds like they probably have kids with the ex, which is why I think that probably the ex is still there, okay? So let's say they have kids, but even if they don't, if they're friends with that person, and 7 years has gone by, okay, there comes a point where you have to decide, are you going to sit forever and be bitter and go, well, I'm not going to the family holiday because this person is there, that person is my ex, and you're not allowed to like my ex. Is that fair? Is that something that we can expect, that we should expect other people to live by our rules, our perception, because we are now divorced to this person? I would be much more, I would say, supportive if there were no children involved, and I'm willing to bet there are children. I am willing to bet there are, because that's the reason she probably brings the ex. But even if there were no kids, 7 years has gone by. Here's the hard fact of life, folks. For us that have been divorced and maybe we don't speak to our exes anymore. I don't speak to mine anymore, okay? We cannot dictate to other people the friendships that they can make, the friendships that they can keep. We cannot dictate that because the friend that they are, because the person that they're friends with is someone that's our perceived enemy. It might be a strong word to use, but it's kind of, what is that phrase? My friend's friend is, what is it? Your enemy is my friend's friend, or something like that. Okay, don't quite remember. Something like that. Okay, your enemy is my friend's friend. Something along those lines. There comes a point where we have to understand that the people around us have the right to socialize with whomever they wish. I think it was courteous that she was notified that, hey, you know what, your ex is going to be there. That was a courtesy. But let's face it, come on, 7 years down the road, do you really expect people to be kowtowing to you because you have not yet gotten over it and you think the whole family is supposed to bend to them? And here's another hard fact in reality. Maybe they just like this guy better than they like her. Maybe he's more positive. Maybe he has a better attitude. Maybe he helps cut the turkey and the ham. Who knows? But you cannot dictate to other adults the relationships they're going to have. It's tough. Trust me, people. I told you, I've been there, okay? Was in divorce court during the month of December, okay? I get it. I really do. But like I said, I think very pragmatically. I try to leave the emotion out of it. And if someone who is divorced is thinking that 7 years later, all your friends are supposed to kowtow because you didn't like your ex, so therefore they shouldn't like your ex, I don't think that's realistic, and I don't think it's fair.
If you're considering serving your ex during the holidays, remember the person who files for divorce is usually ready for the divorce, but the person who's getting served may not expect it or anticipate it. So while it might be really nice as the person who files for divorce to be spending the holidays with your family to kind of help you out, it's really to be the spouse who didn't expect to be served and who now has to scramble and hire a lawyer before Christmas.
I think part of the reason so many breakups occur during the holidays, because it's statistically true that a lot of breakups, occur during the holidays. It's because the person who wants the breakup wants to start their new year off fresh, on a clean slate, so to speak. That's just my opinion. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that. I have no scientific methods to back it up, but that's just my thinking. And that's why the person who wants the breakup, why so many breakups occur during the holidays. It's because the person who wants the breakup goes, I am not dragging this into the next year. And here's another hard fact about breakups, all right? And I don't really, this deals more with people who are getting divorced. This could also deal with long-term relationships as well, even if you've never been married. But for the most part, this TikTok episode deals with, the official legals of divorce. But divorced or not, a breakup is a breakup to some extent, okay? But of course, it's more formal, clearly, if it's a formal divorce. But I think to some extent when these breakups occur, there were signs long before. And I will share on a personal note, I think to me, my experience is that if anyone has ever told you that they think you should divorce, it means they've been thinking about it for a while. And it may take a long time for it to come to fruition, but it's my personal experience that those words were said for a reason, and you need to listen.
There's nothing quite like the feeling you get in your chest and your heart when you see your ex with his new girlfriend for the first time on vacation. I learned that today from personal experience, and I think I might be scarred for life. It was enough to file for divorce today. And if you need a reason to separate, don't wait for 3 years like I did.
I got to interrupt you here. There are people that I have known that have waited years. Yes, they don't live together anymore, but they are legally not even legally separated. They just don't live together. Here's why I don't recommend this, family. So long as you hold legal ties to each other, you hold legal liabilities to each other. This means lawsuits, credit card debt, everything under the sun. You never got legally separated. Now, like, you have no papers to show that, hey, we are not a legal couple anymore. Okay? So long as you have as long as the courts recognize you as still being married, everything your to-be ex does that you claim that you don't want to be with anymore, that you claim, so to speak, that, we're done, we're over, but yet you don't legally divorce, you hold all legal liabilities until there's something that says you've either filed or you've gotten legally divorced. Just something to consider.
To see your ex on vacation with his new girlfriend and all your friends, the people that married you, so.
I've been there too, where when I got divorced, the ink wasn't even dry, and it hurts to be replaced. But I think my experience, it hurts more to be in a mismatched relationship.
Turns out they're not my friends. He's gonna get those in the divorce too, so.
And none of the people that I spoke with prior to my divorce ever contacted me afterwards. That was the end of it. And that, of course, is part of the pain as well.
Should I wait until after the holidays to get my divorce started? It really depends on how quickly you want to get this going. If you want to get it moving, it's important to know that you don't have to blow up the holidays or inject strain and tension in order to get a divorce started. And that's because you can have a law firm get started on processing the paperwork and getting everything going and not notify your spouse until after the holidays.
I'm just the messenger. It's time for our next TikTok right up here. Holiday layoffs. I'll see you in just a few minutes.